In the revenge thriller drama The Glory, a young woman sets off on a long-term plan to get revenge on bullies who tormented her during their high school years. In this video, we'll look at how the series creates compelling characters and discuss one of the characters, Joo Yeo-jeong, who is the romantic interest for the main protagonist, Moon Dong-eun. Per usual, there will be spoilers for the story of The Glory, so I recommend checking out the series before proceeding further. We're looking at the entire first season, consisting of 16 episodes, to see how Yeo-jeong is portrayed as a character in this video. In the second half of the first season, we see more character development for Yeo-jeong compared to the first 8 episodes. Throughout the series, Yeo-jeong is portrayed as an ally to the main protagonist, Dong-eun, and he's romantically interested in her. He's also willing to help her with her revenge plans, saying that he will be her executioner whenever needed. Yeo-jeong is a medical doctor and plastic surgeon, and he first meets Dong-eun a few years before the series begins in present day, when they run into each other as hospital patients. Yeo-jeong eventually crosses paths with Dong-eun again, and they build a connection after he begins to teach her how to play the game Go. In the first half of the season, Yeo-jeong initially comes off as a lovesick, slightly goofy character who seems solely fixated on winning Dong-eun's affection, but we later learn that his friendly exterior hides a lot of internal pain and a tortured past. Yeo-jeong's parents are both renowned doctors, and their family name is on the hospital where they work. Years ago, Yeo-jeong's father showed mercy toward a convicted killer who arrived at the hospital in need of surgery. The killer received treatment but then killed Yeo-jeong's father. While in prison, the killer has mentally and emotionally tortured Yeo-jeong by sending letters describing the murder and forcing Yeo-jeong to relive the trauma. So to dig deeper into Yeo-jeong's character, we can ask, what is this series' objective? We're asking, what is his core need? I think Yeo-jeong desperately wants to find a purpose to anchor his life. Clearly, he wants to get revenge for his father's murder by executing the imprisoned killer, but underneath that goal, there has to be a stronger drive. The trauma of his father's death and the subsequent emotional torture from the killer has turned Yeo-jeong's world completely upside down. On the surface, he has an incredible life given his family background and career accomplishments, but internally, this young man is adrift and needs something to hold on to keep moving forward with his life. This series' objective seems to align with his attraction toward Dong-eun. For her, she's initially not interested in any romantic involvement with Yeo-jeong, but he persistently pursues Dong-eun and shows her endearing kindness that eventually wins her over. It's possible that in Yeo-jeong's mind that to help Dong-eun with her revenge plans is not only an expression of his love for her, but it's also a way for him to focus and give purpose to his traumatized life. Both he and Dong-eun have suffered greatly with their individual traumas, and they each need a mission to anchor their direction in the present day. We can also look at Yeo-jeong and ask, what is his core fear? In other words, what is he afraid of losing? I think Yeo-jeong is afraid of losing his sense of purpose, which ties into his desire for revenge and his romantic longing for Dong-eun. To keep moving forward after his father's murder, Yeo-jeong needs a mission. When he and Dong-eun first meet up in the hospital as patients, it's implied that he's been living recklessly and not getting his life together. But after he meets Dong-eun and starts the process of helping her, he starts to rejuvenate his medical training and career and gets his life back on track. In his scenes with Dong-eun, I thought of action verbs for Yeo-jeong, including to compliment, to endear himself to her, to humor, and to please. The action verbs are designed to think about the acting approach for his character and how he wants to get a reaction out of Dong-eun. For Yeo-jeong, he wants to make a deeper emotional connection with her, even though she is initially resistant. One of the most insightful scenes into Yeo-jeong's character is when he's alone at his new home one night and fantasizes about stabbing his father's killer while perusing his collection of knives. It's a scene that plays inside Yeo-jeong's mind, but it's the first clear sign of what he truly feels and what he is obsessed with despite his cheerful outer personality. In the second half of the first season, we see Yeo-jeong taking more steps toward making contact with his father's killer, and eventually orchestrating plans along with Dong-eun to get the killer transferred to a new prison facility, as well as acquiring a medical staff position there to enact his plans. While we never see this act in the first season, the ending scene implies that Yeo-jeong and Dong-eun will work together to get revenge on the killer. So Yeo-jeong is a character of strong contrast that stands out among the cast. He's cheerful on the outside, which adds to the tone of the romantic subplot with him and Dong-eun, but he also has a tragic past that motivates his actions and eventually aligns him with Dong-eun in her own plans for revenge. As an accomplice, Yeo-jeong expertly uses his cheerful exterior as a mask when he interacts with Yeonjin at his clinic. When Yeonjin starts to spin out of control with her life falling apart, Yeo-jeong is excellent in hiding his dark motives behind his smile, while occasionally making subtle jabs at Yeonjin that further unravel her. Yo-jeong is also important to creating a turning point in Dong-eun's character arc. In the second half of the first season, Dong-eun is ready to jump off a rooftop and end her life when she thinks her revenge mission has been completed, but it's Yo-jeong's mother who finds her and stops her from ending her life. Yo-jeong's mother pleads with Dong-eun and presses into the fact that Yo-jeong needs Dong-eun and her help to give him another chance at life. It's important to note that Yo-jeong's relationship with his mother also reveals aspects of his character. He's very charismatic towards her, but he rarely opens up to her about the darkness that is stirring within his soul. He knows how to hide things about his inner life, which clues us into how he can easily mask his emotions and intentions. So overall, Yo-jeong acts as a mirror character to Dong-eun in their shared plans for revenge, but he's also someone who allows Dong-eun to reveal lighter sides of her character as their relationship develops. Like Dong-eun, he has suffered torment and bullying from a vicious antagonist, and he chooses to fight back by orchestrating steps to get revenge. It's possible that Yo-jeong and Dong-eun's shared brokenness is common ground for their relationship, and this connection drives much of the second half of the series toward its thrilling finale.